Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming over. We've got a packed auditorium here, so it's always exciting to speak to a full room of people. My name's Kevin Dixon. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Tevalis, and with me I've got a group of my partners and clients to have a brief discussion on some of the challenges that the hospitality industry are facing in 2023, how integrated technology can help overcome that, and most importantly, maximising your clients' and customers' journey when they're on site with you. So what we'd like to do first, to save a little bit of time, is just run through a very brief but important round of introductions with our guests. As I mentioned, my name's Kev. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Tevalis, and alongside me I have Chris Ruddle, Director at Riverside Studios, Colin Jackson, Head of Partner Technology at Dojo, formerly known as Payment Sense. Ruben Nogales from Como, one of our loyalty partners, who's VP of Partnerships. James Winstanley at Me&U, one of our order and pay partners. And we also have Emily Lewis, last but not least, Operations Director at our clients, the Lewis Partnership. Feel free to say hi, guys.
Hi guys. Hi guys.
So just a little bit of interaction at this point as well. Can I have a show of hands? Who's an operator here? Anybody a hospitality operator? Or we're all full of suppliers and technology geniuses? Brilliant stuff. So first talking point really, guys. How do we secure customer loyalty and retain footfall in this tough climate? I suppose one of the biggest challenges that the hospitality industry is facing at the moment, post-pandemic, Brexit, so many things happening to the economy at the moment is the reason we're all in business, right, is making money. How do we best secure making money? First point of call, I would say, driving footfall and return footfall. Emily, tell me a little bit more about the challenges you guys are facing at the Lewis Partnership in this sort of area.
Yeah, so I think, what you say about securing that return customer has been so key for us in the kind of post-pandemic recovery. We're really fortunate that we have quite a loyal customer base. We use Como as our loyalty app. We run discounts and incentives for our guests through that, and I think that's really helped us to drive kind of our footfall that we've seen in the post-pandemic recovery and through the cost of living crisis. Particularly, for example, this weekend just gone, we've seen some of our best numbers that we've ever had for Mother's Day in terms of footfall. And now for us, really, it's about using the data that we can get from Como and that information to really target our marketing and really drill down into what our customers are looking for and what kind of attracts them, and tailoring our marketing offers and incentives to appeal to them more broadly to get that repeat custom, even more than we already do.
Brilliant. And do you see a lot of return footfall because of the use of that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we're probably all guilty here of sticking for a certain supermarket because maybe we get club card points or you get your Nectar points or whatever. And I think the same goes for hospitality. Customers want you to give them a reason to return. So for us, that integration with Como is really, really vital to giving customers a reason to choose us for their next event or their next special occasion rather than, the pub or the restaurant down the road.
Amazing. Ruben, tell us a little bit more about how Como achieves that.
Yeah, for us it's critical to get the information from Tevalis, from the Tevalis deal. Basket data tells us, for example, what people like, how much people spend, how often they visit. So we can target them with the right campaigns to encourage them to visit more often, to spend more than they normally did. We can compare members and non-members average spend, for example, so we can monitor how successful the loyalty scheme is. We have a bunch of features that we can offer as well, and the Lewis Partnership are using, such as, for example, punch cards, cashback, point shop, subscriptions these days. We see it's very popular in the UK. As you guys know, subscriptions, customers or end users can subscribe with a business by paying X amount of money per month, per year, or per week in order to qualify for an extra level of perks. Right? So, for example, a free coffee every time they visit, or every day, once a day. So there's a lot of features that we can offer, including communication. It's very important to get the communication with clients right as well. So If I, for example, prefer to be contacted by email and Kevin by SMS, then the business has to have that right. Otherwise, you're going to upset some people out there. It's not legal, it's not compliant. So that's what we can help businesses to achieve, really.
Brilliant. I suppose you're right, that would be counterproductive, not being able to segment that out via preference.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's very important to get that right as well. The number of times that somebody's contacted, with what message, what content, and what gift, if any gift, as well.
Okay. And tell me a little bit more about how Como can identify some of your frequent guests that are maybe at risk of not returning.
Sorry, say that again?
So, from experience of working with Como, I know there's the ability to use the platform to identify your frequently visiting guests who are now at risk of not returning. How does it do that? Your risk of churn and loss, and what goes into place to support the guys at Lewis Partnership to really retain that customer.
Right, I understood. So there are a few features over there that we have in the platform. They're all related to artificial intelligence. So we can, for example, spot where so imagine two items that are getting ordered together with 80% probability. So we can, for example, spot that type of opportunity and say, right, these 1,000 people typically order item A, and even though they are highly likely to order item B, they've never done it. Right, so we can increase the amount of customers that order more and that spend more money when they visit. That's an example of it.
Excellent. And I think, driving footfall in is one of the challenges. I think another challenge that you may be right in saying is efficiencies in sight. It's getting people in and spending money, but how do we maximise that? And I suppose that comes with being able to turn tables quickly. I know we've got a fantastic pay-at-table integration with Dojo. Colin, tell me a little bit more about how Dojo enables operations like the Lewis Partnership and Riverside Studios on turning tables and creating efficiencies in venue.
Yeah, so we have this pay-at-table solution that basically creates a link between the POS system, point of sale, and our card machines, such that you're able to go to a table with the card machine, retrieve all the data from it. You can print the bill out from it and take the payments there and then, including splitting the bill, adding gratuity, doing partial payments. It's really to tackle this whole problem of trying to get the attention of some staff and them having to run between, the back office and going to the front and getting a card machine and coming back to the bill and doing all this stuff. We've made it so that you can effectively and efficiently do that all in one process.
Brilliant. And just to add to that, I think maybe an open question to both Chris and Emily really is, do you see that benefit extended to back office as well at the end of the day, and the efficiencies that brings in with your team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some areas of the venue I work in, the tables are actually quite tricky to serve as well. So like the introduction of the QR codes, it's not just eliminated an extra person I have to employ, but also we used to get quite a few walkouts previously. So that's gone straight away because they obviously pay before they have the product. And it's so well integrated. So we use Me&U, and it's so well integrated with Tevalis that we've never had any issues with the orders or the paying of such orders as well.
Brilliant. I think that leads on to yourself there, James, really on a perfect segue for yourself.
Yeah.
Fire away, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously sort of, Riverside is a new role for us as well, but, obviously Me&U is a order pay platform as well, which most of you have probably experienced throughout COVID. I think, many of us have seen the emergence of order pay or at-table ordering so prominently during COVID, and COVID brought about a necessity for pretty much everybody to have it as well. And that's brought about varying degrees of people's experience as so many people came to the market as well. I think what we're now left with is the cream of order pay who are left now. Obviously, the integration part of that is so important. So our platform integrates seamlessly into Tevalis. And the level of synchronicity that exists between the two of us allows those operating efficiencies for venues as well, so that venues are never concerned about obviously sort of it breaking down. We talk to each other perfectly. But then you've got obviously the benefits of order pay so as well. So, you know, as Chris has said, being able to be much more efficient in his venues where he's perhaps got tables that are more difficult to kind of sort of constantly service. And then we've got the really big bits, so sort of customers trading up as well. We know that people typically, when they're ordering via any kind of sort of at-table order platform, or even at home, so the likes of the Deliveroo's and the Uber Eats and Just Eats, you know, people typically, as many of you have probably experienced, order more, and you spend more money as well, and the same exists when you're in venue as well. So we're constantly encouraging people to kind of spend more money, eking that incremental spend, get them to try new things on the menu. And then I guess finally there's the data, as well as everyone has said, obviously sort of Colin and Ruben have said, the data that throws off enables venues to operate their businesses better, to understand their customers better, and to change their ranges to be more profitable and to be more customer centric as well.
Brilliant stuff. So, taking that into consideration, what do you think are the next steps for integrated technology? I mean, Emily, what would you like to see more from your technology providers here in venue? What allows you to level up your game and move into?
I think for us, or for myself personally, it is all in the data, and it's about, I think, if we can get a greater kind of level of connectivity between the integrations that we've got already, but then actually being able to pull that all the way through as a fully functioning like CRM system into like email marketing and through to socials, and really filter it down the whole process. Whereas I think at the moment you kind of pull all this data and it's like amazing. I can tell you who our top spend customer is or how many pints this person drinks in a year. But you then have to kind of do the work on that to pull that into whatever kind of CRM package you're using, and really like manipulate that to turn it into kind of your marketing plan. I think that maybe that's the next stage and where the
so it's identifying actionable data and
definitely.
then being able to do something with it seamlessly. And I think, you know, there's some really, really good things out there at the moment. There's things that as technology providers and software houses where we're currently working on. Current projects we're working on with you guys, Colin, at Dojo, on enhancing our pay at table experience, and that is driven around data, right? Tell us a little bit more tables if you can.
Yeah, I can. So I mentioned the pay at table integration that we've got. We're just releasing a new version of that now, which tackles a few problems really. So the first point is current pay table, we're only looking at the tables that are ready to be paid. So we don't actually get that full picture of what's going on with all the which tables are free, which are underutilised, what's the average turn time on tables. And we've also got a new booking system, queuing and booking system. So we're going to be using the data from that to feed into predictability things around that piece. Again, also with it is the item level data, getting that visibility of, like you've said, it's like there's a wealth of all this data, and it's a case of like transforming that into something that's meaningful and actionable and that we can do. But the first step to that is actually getting that data. So we're working on doing that so that we can build new products on top of it. Like the data's the key.
And just adding to that as well, it's pretty much what Como works with as well, is using that data to drive in that loyalty and footfall. I mean, give me some examples of how that's really successful for your client base, Ruben.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not about the connection with the POS. POS has the most relevant piece of data for Como, but we can collect data from other sources as well. For example, as a CRM provider, as a loyalty provider, we want to know as well when somebody connects to the Wi-Fi or when somebody disconnects from the Wi-Fi. For example, we have a client, I can't remember in what territory it was, but we have a client where they have locations in front of universities. So they want to know exactly when somebody connects to the Wi-Fi, orders a coffee, and then, they never order anything else, but that person keeps on being connected to the Wi-Fi. Obviously, they take a table right for hours just with one coffee. So we can spot these type of opportunities and say, for example, right, we can trigger a push notification if somebody is still connecting to the Wi-Fi, say, right, have a coffee on us, not on us maybe, but 10% off on your next coffee or something like that. So that's a great way to using data from different sources, make the most out of it for a business.
And I suppose in that same sort of scenario as well, the simplicity of having a beacon or a QR code in that situation tied into a loyalty platform with a CRM engine driving that data as well. I think it unlocks the next main talking point really is, while you've got your customers in venue, how do you maximise the money they're spending? We want to turn the tables quicker with pay at table and QR ordering. We want to drive footfall in by using loyalty platforms. But how do we get the most out of the clients while they're in venue? And this is a key example, James.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, we talk about this ecosystem, this tech stack all the time, don't we? So we know all of these things here, all these different platforms. The more the better we're integrating with each other, the more that sort of personalized we can make that customer journey, more targeted. And I think from the likes of Ruben and Como and the loyalty piece, the data that we pick up as well feeds back into these guys and then back and forth. So we can be rewarding the customer through sort of promotions by the likes of Como based on their previous kind of sort of experiences and what they typically kind of order on a regular basis as well. So you're really tailoring that customer journey as much as possible through essentially AI as well. And then as developments within sort of Me&U as well, we're almost sort of tailoring the order in which customers are seeing products as well through their propensity to kind of purchase those, the frequency rather with which they purchase those products as well. So it's really very exciting kind of sort of concept, having this kind of really robust sort of tech stack and these really deep integrations which occur across all of them.
And is this what you're experiencing, Chris, yourself?
Yeah, massively. I mean, the spend per head has definitely gone up through using the QR codes. It automatically does suggestive selling. So obviously, if you have staff, you put them through training and development. And a good example is this, so a big seller on a menu is always a burger. So you always get staff to say, do you want cheese in that? If you've got quite a few covers in a restaurant and say you're able to do an extra £100 per day just on selling cheese. Do that over the course of the year, that's an extra £36,000. So using the QR codes, it will automatically say, do you want cheese in that? Do you want some sauces with that? Get that spend per head just by £2 more per person. So that's going to be an extra £72,000 a year, which covers 3 salaries straight away. And you don't even have to have the staff to do that. So yeah, definitely. And also relating things. So if you have a steak on your menu, there might be a suggestion where the Malbec goes very well with that course, and then you can sell that.
That is amazing. I mean, that in itself is a prime example of using multifaceted integrated technology to fulfill your guests' experience in the journey and venue.
Exactly. And if you give your staff if you give them the numbers so they can actually equate it in their heads so they understand how important it is, then I think that's quite a good. It's using good examples like that to raise the spend.
And these are some really, throughout all of the talking points, there's some really good examples of how using technology integrated can drive revenue, drive footfall. But someone has to manage all of this integrated technology, right? And I think it's so important that the integrations themselves into the central point of POS is absolutely key to make this successful. James, we started this journey 2.5 years ago by providing you access to our API so you can fulfill this. Tell me about the product development and how that's unlocked the ability that Chris is experiencing now.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, I think when we how much our integration has moved on since we started, and I think as you know, during the time of COVID, everybody was trying to integrate into Tevalis. Every order pay platform wanted to integrate with everybody. So and I think you probably learned pretty quickly that there was a real kind of delta of kind of sort of different abilities in the order pay place, should we say? But I think what we've always strived to do is have we integrate with the best POS companies, Tevalis being absolutely kind of sort of leading edge in that department, and what we've worked hard at, because you've pushed us as well, I'm going to add, is to make sure that our integration with you guys is absolutely flawless. And what that's doing is it's making the synchronicity between us so focused on the customer and making the customer's jobs easier, okay? So our platform is constantly developing in the background to make sure that the consumer's journey is absolutely flawless, that we're constantly pushing upsells and additional upsells and that incremental revenue piece. But actually the customer, as in the operator, they're the operating kind of platform and that seamlessness as well to kind of remove friction for them is so important. So I think if we look at our integration now with Tevalis versus where it was 2.5 years ago, I mean, it's world class. It really is. And the simplicity for the operators to be able to kind of sort of just press a button on Tevalis and out it goes to Me&U with no issues whatsoever is absolutely, it's so important to that whole journey for you guys.
Just echoing that statement, it is so important because synchronizing multiple pieces of technology manually, or even fulfilling the roles of these pieces of technology manually, requires manpower, it requires human resource, which is expensive and it's very hard to come by at the moment in the current climate that we're experiencing in the UK, in the hospitality industry. I'm proud to be the director of partnerships at a company that champions integrated technology, and seeing not only the journey of development from our partners, but the actual throughput and what it actually delivers to you guys at the front end, at the coalface of the industry really, and servicing the people of our country with a great day out and a great great experience. I think kind of next level thing for me is kind of embracing more integrated tech across our entire client base, and really encouraging the use of multifaceted integrated technology to help drive revenue, because ultimately for us, all as suppliers to the hospitality industry, we need the hospitality industry to be doing well, even throughout the challenges that it's currently facing in 2023. Guys, thank you so much for coming over and spending the day with us. We're going to have an open Q&A section, but what I'd like to do instead is invite you over to our stand. We're at the Tevalis stand. We've got our partners here from Me&U, Como and Dojo. So if you have any questions at all, you want to pick this back up, the experts are in the house and they're free to speak to, but thank you for your time.